What's up, church? This is my rig. I'll give you a little rundown. I use this in Edgar Blood, my one-man band. We'll start with the guitar, which is a utter piece of shit. It is I believe, 2003 Washburn HB15. It's stock. It's just a junker jazz box guitar. And one time, when I was really drunk, it broke. So I fixed it with Gorilla Glue, because why not? Move on to the amps. The Fender FM 212R. That's right. Solid state, 100-watt piece of shit. With every other guitar I've ever tried, it just sounded like ass. But with the Washburn, it sounds pretty neat. I actually do use the onboard crunch channel, I guess. It lets me kind of keep the volume under control. It crunches, but it's not, I can keep it at a lower level in case I need to turn down without losing gain. But it just sounds like a big garbagey garage rock mess. As you can see, it's been retolexed white, little small modifications, but it does not have the original speakers. I had to find some of these Jensen made Fender special design speakers because the stock ones are generic China crap that sounded amazing, but can't find them anymore. That's for the guitar, with air quotes. Over here is the Silvertone solid state 150. Nothing crazy about it. The only mod, I guess, is that I made it a grounded AC plug so that it wouldn't shock me. When I first got it, it shocked the shit out of me, and it doesn't anymore. And of course, the amazing Mahler 412 by Jared, who I met through the church, of course. Whited out as I spec'd, and it's got Jensen C12Ns still. They'll probably stay that way because they're garbagey and loud. With that 150 watt head for the quote bass and the organ, it does the damn thing. It roars. It's fucking loud. And then the brains of the whole thing would be this pedal board over here. This is hard to describe because the guitar gets split a bunch of different ways. First and foremost, the guitar goes into the tuner, acts as a tuner, obviously, and an overall mute in case I just need to turn the whole fucking thing off because it's loud. From there, it goes out to the radial big shot, who I actually got from Mike Horn here on the church. Met him, it was easy transaction, cheap, and it does the damn thing. I can split my signal, no hum, does exactly what I need. From there, output A is still guitar, and that goes to this box, which I just recently made, and I will get to that in a sec. Output B, which will have the lift and the ISO, so nothing hums, goes into the EHX C9 organ machine, which has the wet and dry out, and the organ, or wet organ out. When you turn it on and off, it switches between organ and guitar, which I don't want. I want it to be just organ all the time, but of course you can't do it that way. So what I did is I was recording recently, so those settings got changed. I took the organ out into a momentary mute that I made. Oh no, this is a latch mute. So this will turn it on and off. That's just on, off, organ only. That's on all the time. And then that goes to this box. Again, I'll get to that. The dry out, which will still sound like a guitar at this point, goes to the pitchfork, dropped it down an octave. And then from there, it goes into a Behringer VTM 666 or 999 or whatever it is. It's a tube pre in a kind of like EHX big box clone thing. The cool thing is it has a built-in gate. Even though the Big Shot does calm things down, this pitchfork is pretty noisy, so when I'm not playing, it gets kind of this like digital weird shit going on to the signal. So the gate is actually just barely cracked so that it can just chill it out when I'm not playing. As you can see, the gain's cranked on it. It does have an EHX 12AX7 in it, not the stock Bagura piece of shit that was in there. On all the time. Then that goes to this box as well. So the guitar signal gets split basically 3 ways, and then the organ and bass, and then the unaffected guitar signal go to this box, which is right next to the snare pedal. I'll do a quick thing on the drums. It's pretty simple, but so this one, which is closest, is the bass mute. These are all momentary, single, isolated, momentary circuits, just mutes, and that is closest because I mute the bass pretty frequently to create kind of like dynamics and stuff. When the organ is on all the time with the latch mute, this mutes the organ. I usually put these next to each other, so if I want to mute both and have just guitar, I can pull them out and bring everything in. And then this one, which I don't use very much, is just the guitar mute. Sometimes I'll do a thing where if the organ's off, this doesn't do anything. It's still just nothing. But sometimes I'll mute just the guitar and have like a bass thing going on. That's all just to kind of create that dynamics, make it sound like more than one person doing everything. That goes to the Fender, and then both of these go to the Silvertone stack. So yeah. And then quick thing on the drums is, this is just a kick drum thing with some stick things that I modified. I actually have a spare one here. They don't break very often, but that's just a galvanized nail screwed into a stick. They make them, but they're cheap and they break fast. Pearl Forum snare, Pearl Forum kick with Quarians, Remo heads, my favorite XS20 cymbals. They're cheap and they're loud. That's what I like. I have the hats have a tambourine on it just to give it some body. And then the other thing I get asked all the time is the cymbal thing. So I hunted high and low for a way to make me able to hit a cymbal. And I found this thing. It's called a Dixon, like cajon pedal. Obviously all 3 of these are parked next to each other because I hit them simultaneously most of the time. But this is a cable-driven kick pedal, basically. And the thing about it is it clamps to whatever the hell you want. And I used one of my spare DW beaters to, you push this down and it hit your cymbal. So yeah, so for most of the part, don't mind my ugly ass feet, is, this foot's doing snare, and then I'll use my heel to mute things, and then here I'll usually have my foot and on the kick and the hats, or my kick and my cymbal, and I beat the shit out of everything. These Dixon cajon pedals actually got a bad rap because the cable, which is just like bike cable, the stock one that it comes with, you're beating the shit out of it, it does wear. See, it has like a weird lever that it rests up against, and it can fray. And especially with what I'm doing, I consider them a consumable item. So you buy them for $8 for a pack of 10, and you replace them every 4 months or so. So you can continue beating the shit out of your cymbal while you hit your kick drum. Yeah, I have my kids home because of the quarantine, so I can't turn everything on too much lately. But yeah, there you go. If you've ever wondered, that's how I do it.